Hey guys, Tuckcat here, and today I am bringing you a really stupid build that we're making purely for memes because of the new Burning Ground patch, which literally goes live on the servers in the next like 20 minutes. If you don't know, they've made a new Burning Ground. It looks really cool. And it apparently doesn't have any lag. Pitch Darkness has a 10% chance to spread Burning Ground if Burning Arrow ignites an enemy. You have to use Burning Arrow to ignite. I'll probably use 3 of these. I might need to use more. But there's a 30% chance when we hit an enemy to create Burning Ground. This is not an ignite build. Very important to stress. It's basically Fire Caustic Arrow or Righteous Fire Arrow or Fire Trap Arrow. If you go onto PoE database Burning Arrow, just googling it now, should have done that earlier, sorry. You can see the numbers. It basically has the exact same numbers as Caustic Arrow, slightly lower, and it's scaled by level. So you can see here level, and it has it here. For some reason, it shows it per minute, and we would have a level 27 one, which would be like 90k per minute. By the time you divide it down, it's literally like 100-ish less damage than Caustic Arrow. So it's basically Fire Caustic Arrow, okay? Cool. Again, this is a meme build. And you can see your tooltip in game. You can't see your damage in Path of Building, and it scales with fire damage, burning damage, elemental damage, area damage, generic damage, weapon elemental damage, and levels. You cannot scale it with projectile damage. You cannot scale it with physical damage. Okay. So because of that, and I'll show you some gameplay and some other random stuff, you basically want to build it like either Caustic Arrow or Explosive Arrow. So your tree will look like an Explosive Arrow tree, minus the projectile stuff, and you have it with like +1 stuff. You get to use stuff like burning damage, elemental damage with attacks. I'm using GMP. I'll quickly just show you what it looks like. So currently my ignite chance is pretty bad, but you can see that it's like you create the Burning Ground. This is sort of the old Burning Ground, and that is like the idea behind the build. The reasoning of playing this build, other than memes, if I try and justify this build in my head, it's a Caustic Arrow build, which has more ways of scaling it, because you can scale stuff like Elemental Overload, you can scale it with stuff like Opal Rings, fire damage on rings, elemental damage with attacks on rings. So it's basically, it's a Caustic Arrow, which is slightly harder to apply, but is easier to scale, right? So that's, yeah, so it's maybe better than Caustic Arrow with enough jewels. You lose that on Wither Totem, but you can gain Scorching Ray, supplementary damage, and you gain stuff like Elemental Equilibrium. You gain stuff like Flammability, Elemental Weakness. You can still use Despair, so if you want to go triple DPS curses, that'd be Despair, Flam, Ele Weak. But yeah, I'll show you this little clip, which I think summarizes the build perfectly. Enjoy.
That's like the perfect summary of this build. While everyone else is re-rolling Burning Ground, I'm rolling Burning Ground.
Just wait, I guarantee the new Burning Ground's gonna give FPS.
I hope it gives DPS as well.
So yeah. I'm also playing, as you can tell, with my friend Kane. The Kane Tarky Dynamic Duo is back. He's playing a Dewedri's Totem Curse build thingy. Dewedri's Chest. It's not a totem, so it doesn't scale with like totem placement and all that stuff. It's a spell. He's remaking his Eshe's Visage Trickster support. Trix gives a bunch of generic cast speed, and he's gonna have like 6 curses. So he's also going to apply EE for me, but for solo play I can apply EE through a few different ways. My general idea is to have enough damage that for like map clear, you just fire Burning Arrow once. You don't care about EE for like white, blues, rares. And then for bosses you can drop an Orb of Storms, or I can have a secondary like Frenzy Curse on hit or Lightning Arrow Curse, or probably just Orb of Storms Curse on hit. Also helps proc my Ele Overload. So that's kind of like the basic concept. I've gone with Scion. with Guardian plus Deadeye. Deadeye because it gives me 2 Pierce, and it gives me additional Proj. I'm currently running GMP, but without GMP, I have a base of 3 arrows with Deadeye plus a +1 quiver. You can then use a Dying Sun. You can also get +2 quivers now. I'll probably try and do that and not have to run GMP at all. If you are sticking with GMP and you have loads of Pierce, because you have like a +3 Pierce quiver through Essences, you could also go Raider instead of Deadeye, just to get a bit more movement speed. The thought process of... and I just screwed up the build. The thought process of Guardian is because I'm playing Duo. It gives us both attack, cast, and movement speed. His build really needs cast speed. Attack, cast, movement speed makes both our builds move faster. Attack speed makes the build feel smoother. It also gives him Conduit, which feeds me charges because we're playing Duo. Reduced effective curse on you for hardcore makes any weakness cap easier to get. So this is kind of like 25% reduced effective curses on you and 8 all res, technically, because it reduces the required resists I need. It also just makes, you know, random map mods. I know we have Cursed up like 90% of the time, but the one time you're backtracking through that temp chains map, it also gives like 10% movement speed. But yeah, I'm just doing this because I'm Duo. Other Ascendancies I considered. Actually Champion, funnily enough, for solo play. It has a bunch of generic damage scaling. It has Fortify, it has a bunch of life. You could also do Slayer. You can do Berserker. You can do Trickster. You can do Pathfinder. Etc, etc, etc. I went Sarn just because I haven't played a Sarn this league. If this, in the unlikely case that this build does not work, very unlikely case, I'm probably just going to respec this into Explosive Arrow or Immolate Wander or Immolate Tornado Shot. But that's a little bit standard. But yeah, so 30% chance on Ignite to create Burning Ground, and again, we create the Burning Ground on Pierce. So if there's a pack of like 20 mobs, we shoot like 6 arrows, 5 arrows, it pierces through the entire pack. Each individual Ignite, this is not Prolif, each individual Ignite has a 30% chance to create the Burning Ground. So 3 should be enough for packs. And for single target, I might just need to attack like 2 or 3 times to get a proc. If we need to, we can add a 4th jewel. I would like not to add a 4th jewel. And also the Tarred Ground is a 60% slow, which is pretty powerful. And scales quite well with stuff like Temp Chains. And I also have a pretty nice Helm for this build here, which is Burning Arrow, has 30% chance to ignite a bunch of life, dual res. So the Burning Arrow has a base 20% chance to ignite, plus the Helm enchant is 50% chance to ignite. Then we get an additional 15% chance to ignite on the tree. So we're at 65% chance to ignite without any like additional sources. And then you can use the chance to ignite gem, which gives fire damage, so it scales our Burning Ground, and we have over 100% chance to ignite, which is overkill. We obviously don't need 100% chance to ignite, but ignite chance isn't going to be an issue. Also, flammability gives chance to ignite, etc. So, yeah. The 2 things I'm worried about, because I'm actually not worried about the damage of this build, because this build will do actually quite a lot of damage in the end when you work out all the calculations of the fact it scales with EE, when it scales with all the curses. The main thing I'm worried about with this build is the actual chance to apply Burning Ground. We're going to need accuracy, so we actually hit the mob. So I'm going to need like 1 or 2 pieces of gear with accuracy on it. Or use like a poacher's mark or whatever. But defensively, the build's solid. You can see it has... we can cut points from this tree quite easily. Like, we can cut a bunch of random fluff. But you very easily get a good amount of life and mom using stuff like Pyring. You probably use 1 Pyring just for corpse destruction, and the fact it gives you up to 80% burning damage. But if you were to use something like this, which would be a fairly easy opal to craft, you just craft elemental damage with attacks. You could just use 2 opals, and then you're like 7k life with pretty whatever gear, just like 40 life jewels, nothing that fancy, really nothing that crazy on a belly. If you then had a Combs, you're looking at like 8k life plus Mom. You can do Queen of the Forest and still have over 6.5k life and loads of mana. So, like, the defense is really solid. The attack and movement speed is pretty good. The only thing will be just this chance to create Burning Ground. That's the only thing which is, like, the one iffy thing about the build. One annoying thing, just on that point, is the Pitch Darkness has to have 40 dex in radius. So we can't just, like, put in 6 jewels. If we need to add a 4th, we would have to, like, come down to this jewel socket, which wouldn't actually be that bad, because you'd probably reroute this bit to look like this. So then it's, like, 4 travel, you'd come this way. You'd come this way through it, because then you can pick up Arcane Chemistry, because you're a Mom build. Arcane Chemistry is also good, because reduced fast charges used. Not that bad. You could just attack twice. And again, as I said earlier, if there's like 10 mobs, it's 30% per mob. So 30% chance times that. It really 3 should be more than enough. I think I'll actually be fine with 2. And you could always come up this way and get life and whatever. I honestly think 3 will be fine. I'm more worried about Axes than anything else, but again, just get like 1 or 2 pieces with Axes. You can get Axes on a quiver, you can get Axes on gloves, you can get Axes on helm, get it on rings, you can get it on jewels now. It's a meme. It's a meme. And also the transmog looks really cool. Anyone who played Frostfire Ridge in WoD, getting a very strong Durotan vibe. But anywho, I'm Tarky. Kayn is back. If this is an Explosive build, next time you look at this character, you know why. But fire burning, not an Ignite build, by the way. Have a good day. Also, we're back to our normal stream schedule. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Ha-ha.